Well, hello everyone. My brothers made it down and we're hitting the Triumph again. We're trying to get quite a bit done. So this is the bottom of the right fender. It had some rust damage on it and I've decided to make one. So I've started with a flat piece of sheet metal. And I formed it roughly over a acetylene bottle that I had laid on the bench. Got some curvature. The original panel has this lip folded over on it, and I'm going to just cut a thin piece of metal and weld it along the edge. And here I'm scribing off the lines of the original panel. And I've used a couple of Clecos to hold it in place. This will allow me to put it back in the same place for future measurements. Trimming it up the edge here a little bit. And the Cleco holes that I had were in the rusty portion and weren't holding very good, so I had to drill some new ones. I decided to gas weld this edge first, trying to get a little build-up weld on it, a little more controlled than with the MIG. And as I've mentioned in previous videos, the MIG weld is a little harder to grind. And as always, after welding, you have to grind. And here I'm taking on a flat file and squaring off the edge of that little piece that we've welded in to represent the folded over section. Get it all nice and square and it should look nice. And now that we have the edge all welded on, going to lay the panel back over the original panel and tack it in a couple places. This will hold everything in place while I take the cutoff wheel and cut through both the new panel and the old panel gradually as I work my way across. Here I'm taking the cutoff wheel and cutting through the new outer panel and the new inner, or the old original panel at the same time. This corner was a little tricky because that's where the folded over parts were, so it was 4 layers thick. And the process is to cut your way across to the tacks and push the metals down till it lines up, and tack them again, and just keep working until it's finished. And here I've successfully tacked it all the way across, and I'm working the original rusty panel off from underneath so we can get it out of the way. And now it's just a matter of welding the slit together. Lots and lots of little tacks, trying to keep the metal from getting too hot in any one place. And just keep on going until there's nothing left to weld. Here we've reached the all welded and all grounded portion. Got it looking good. Warpage is under control. Now we are ready to deal with the end. As you can see on the panel here, all the rust for the reason I cut it out. But as we turn it over, here in just a minute, got the edge with the fold. Instead of making the fold, I'm going to cut a piece and weld it onto the edge and weld it on both sides inside and out so that I'll be able to grind the edge without having to worry about grinding through it. Mark the edge off the old panel. We're going to cut it to the proper length, allowing a little bit for the new piece of metal to overlap. This is the piece that I've cut. I'm going to lay it up to the edge of the panel that was trimmed to fit. We'll tack it into place and then more welding. And as before, you don't want too much heat build up, so I weld a little bit, cool it a little bit, and go back to welding. A little bit of hammer work at the end, and the panel's little piece on the end is pretty much in place. All we'll need is trim to fit and weld it on the outside. And here we are with the panel welded in place, the edges trimmed, the corner of the lip is ground nice and smooth, and that part of the project is done. Now here you notice the bottom of the fender has recessed dimple areas for the mounting. I contemplated that for a while and came up with an idea of, took some oak that I had and I made a little die out of it. Cut them to fit, made a test cut, and put the two pieces of wood, one behind the other, with the metal in between, tighten it down with the air ratchet, and there we are. Got dimpled areas. And this part of the fender is all done. I have a little bit of trimming on the bottom to do, but I've decided to go back to one of the tub, get it all ready for paint, get it painted so we can set it over the motor and transmission that's on the frame. We'll catch you next time. Thanks.